We're about to open this meeting of the Gilliam County Court, special session this Wednesday, February 14th. It is 10:12. The first order of business that we have is the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I do have one addition to the agenda, the one that I just handed out has it on there. We did receive a request from the PCDC for the dispersal of their funds for the housing project. So we thought we might go ahead and put it on today to get the funds moving and get the housing project going.
Is that allowed in a special session?
You don't believe that it is? To be honest, this was stuff that hit my desk at like 3 o'clock yesterday.
I saw it. Oh, I saw the email. I just believe we have to stay with the agenda items.
Okay, all right.
I mean, this.
To be perfectly honest with you, I question the fact that the need for this, the dispersal of funds in being this quickly. I believe the process for the PCDC is going to be somebody comes in, asks for the funds, they make a determination as to whether this project is going to fit within their realm of things, and then
anyway, I
dispersal.
So put it on the regular agenda.
Okay, we can do that on what would be February 21st. So strike that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, also within the agenda, we will need to go into executive session under ORS 192-662F for some legal counsel advice, or I guess explanations on the contracts that we have in front of us. So that's, it's considered the award approval of the contract with Inland Development for the dark fiber indefeasible right of use and maintenance for Arlington to Condon Fiber Build. So with that being said, I'll get legal counsel on the phone.
Does the camera need to be turned on?
Is there any way we can tell?
Full battle rattle twice.
Okay.
Try to send a message.
It looked like this last time. Okay.
This is Jim.
Good morning, Jim. This is Gilliam County Judge Steve Schaefer. We are in our regular meeting, our special session meeting of the Gilliam County Court. Within the room right now, we've got Commissioner Weatherall, Commissioner Weimer, myself, Jim Deason. At this time in the audience, it's Max Stenchfield of the Times-Journal, Dale Scolbert, City Chief of Police, Catherine Greiner with the City Administrator, Peter Mitchell, Port of Arlington, Gary Betancourt, Sheriff, and Lori Anderson, Citizen. So at this time, Jim, I know that you feel there's some things that we need to go into executive session to discuss. So at this time, I'm going to move the Gilliam County Court into executive session under ORS 192-662F. And give us just a minute as we clear the room.
Thank you, guys. Just let me know when you're ready to do.
Okay, sitting at the table, we've got Joe Fresnel. Also, I forgot to mention his name. Anyway, the room has been cleared. Okay, I think we're set, ready to go, right? Back into regular session. We do have some discussion to, I guess, further. Joe, do you have anything that you want to add here?
Well, just for the sake of the folks who are in the audience, perhaps without going into any of the detail from the executive session, just to give an update to the court. So we have semi-final documents that, as of 10 minutes before the meeting this morning, were reviewed by Inland Development, and we've gotten a nod on the substance of the documents. There are some items that we need to discuss with the city now that we've had a conversation with the court, and so my next steps will be to sit down with Adam Has and have a conversation about some open items that we need to make a decision on. The court still has some items that they need to decide on, which will be will help guide that discussion with Adam. And so I'm happy to answer any questions, or we can have a discussion about any of the items that you'd like to talk about at this time.
Commissioner, you had some questions?
Well, this goes back to just this basic agreement and the definitions of it. I mean, having not been around this type of an agreement, it's a little bit difficult when you talk about buyers and grantors. Normally, I think of an agreement, it's with a buyer and a seller, or a grant, and a grantee. And here we've got something where we've got a buyer and a grantor, and these other people aren't involved in it. And so this makes it difficult when you go to reading this thing. What kind of an agreement are we really getting into?
So, and I understand the confusion, because I am not an attorney, and that's one of the, what you just described is one of the reasons why I chose not to be an attorney. But to put it in layman's terms, if the county and the city were buying fiber, we were paying someone to build fiber that we would own, we would be basically a buyer. We would be buying fiber, we would be, and services, contracting for someone to build fiber for us that we would own. Since we're effectively leasing, and this is the IRU portion of this, an indefeasible right of use, it's a very, very strong form of lease. We're not actually buying fiber, we're buying access to part of the fiber that's going to be built. And the terms of the lease are, we pay some of the construction costs. I can tell you it's probably not, we're not funding the whole construction. And then we're going to pay some amount monthly that will allow them to maintain and ensure availability of that fiber over the life of the lease, this IRU. So it is a different structure perhaps than what you're used to, but that's what we're entering into, is basically we're paying to have access to something that doesn't exist today, and that includes the construction, but they have to construct it so that we can have access to it.
Commissioner, if I could also add to that, the indefeasible right of use, the IRU, is a contractual critter and a legal conveyance that is absolutely unique to telecommunications, and particularly fiber optic lines. You won't find it in buying cars or buying real estate or any of the rest of it. It is a critter that is absolutely unique to telecom. And the agreements use terminology, you write both buyer or grantee. What's key and what the courts have said, and what makes an IRU a conveyance of what they call a beneficial ownership or ownership S type legal right, is the terms of the document. So the short answer is this: in this context, in this particularly unique brand of contracts, for the IRU, buyer or grantee, or we can use either one. If you want us to change it, I can change it, or we can leave it as is. Just let me know what to do.
Well, it's just that not having had much time to look at this, it was difficult to have discussion about it and ask questions, because not understanding not being familiar with the terms, I mean, I've got a lot more reading to do.
Yes, sir. Well, now hopefully you have the package of the whole set of, or as they call it in the legal world, the whole bundle of sticks that need to come together. If you have any questions or if there's anything we can do to clarify, just let us know. My job as a scrivener is to make it understandable. To the extent it can be made understandable.
As an attorney, thank you for that.
I'll probably go through Joe.
Okay.
Anything else the court would like to discuss? I think I have my marching orders, so
okay.
I'll be chatting with Mr. Haas this afternoon.
Okay, so you know, we're just so we clarify what those are, and now that we're in open session, is discussion with the city's representative in regards to the fiber count. To also discussion of dispersal, how the funds, dispersal of funds, and then also the project manager discussion process.
Okay.
You know, then
Those were the three I had.
yeah. Then also, you know, as far as Adam will probably ask for, because we've already received that request, the sharing of the contract, of which we're willing to go ahead until we get this completely finalized, with the milestones and payments that, the milestones and payments schedule. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so that's what we talked about, right? Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So negotiations with the city and getting to those three items, and we move on from there. Okay, anything further?
Well, this payment, the monthly reoccurring, are you gonna have to do the same thing with it as we are with this upfront money?
No,
No,
that's separate.
No, sir.
That's separate.
Yeah. That's separate. This is just for the construction, is what we're talking about.
And it's because it's $2,000 a month versus 1.9 million. It's the size of the NRC that has, that makes Inland want to make sure it's solid.
Okay.
Okay, all right, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
We're there.
Well, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're close. So, yeah.
So I think this next step with the city will, you know, help them get their contracts all done. And at our next regular session, we should be signing the documents, or giving the judge permission to sign the documents.
So
Can't imagine at our next session, the city's gonna be that far along.
Well, you know, depends on how much of what we've done they're able to make use of.
Yeah.
right.
I think.
But
We'll-
even for
we'll
me,
find that.
I got a long ways to go.
You know, we may need to get a clean, Jim, one of the things I think you ought to provide for the court is a clean set of documents all in one PDF, so they don't have to sort through things. And that may help them.
I will do that. I apologize for sending them separately, but that's how I've been trading them with Inland and the Next to the Beach. But I will do that by, hopefully I'll talk to Inland sometime today, but by the end of the day, I will send two documents to the court. One will be the three documents that constitute the IRU agreement, that's the IRU, the fiber, and the milestones. The other one will be the maintenance and the service orders, just so, because they are two different sections. But you'll have two documents you can print out, they'll be all in order, and they'll be the current draft as of the second.
I think that'll help.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought we had those last night.
Well, you do, they're just.
I mean, they were blank, part of it was blank.
You've got markups and,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why. I'm
Well, we
trying to-
had a markup set, and we had
Right.
the clean
Yes,
set.
yes, sir. And the reason, Commissioner, just so you know, the reason you had markups was, it wasn't until I talked to Inland this morning that I knew they were okay with those changes. I can now remove those markups. But it wasn't until literally 10 minutes before the session started that I learned from Midland that they accepted our changes. So at least the two main agreements are essentially finished.
So it should be clean, a lot easier to deal with.
So I will send clean copies of those.
All right, thank you very much.
Good. Thanks, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Judge Shaker, do I need to stay on the line or?
Nope, we'll pick up with you later, I guess. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Y'all have a good day.
You too, thanks. Okay, I was just running through emails hoping that I would have received the approval of the lease agreement from Thompson Brothers. That's still with Reuben Cleveland. I had tried to get in contact with him yesterday to see where he was at with them. I still haven't heard anything. Maybe there's a phone call down there, but we don't have anything other than what was delivered based on the WI agreement that we were shown last time. So I did have communication with Thompson Construction. They're wanting to, know a date that they would be able to get set up in there. Initially, when Brad was here, he asked for March 1st. I think with Reuben, when he was here at that time, he was hoping to be able to get that accomplished. So I'm going to table this until our next meeting. By that time, we should have the contract. So didn't know whether we were going to get it, so we put it on the agenda because of last Thursday. So the next item is to consider the addition of the Gilliam County Public Transportation Building. Last night, Marta sent an email out to all of us. It was kind of her plan that she had looked at with this. She does have, some concerns here.
Is she coming in?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just said you tell her all
Right.
else.
Is Jeff
What about
coming in?
Jeff?
I didn't talk, well, again, I had asked for Marla to kind of work this up, and that we would, talk about what was here. I got this at the same time you guys got it last night, so I wasn't able to talk to Jeff. They decided that under a special meeting that we couldn't do this. So, couldn't add it to the agenda. And we got an email from Ruth that I had to return. Good morning. Okay, so Marla, you met with Jeff yesterday, or was it the day before? It was Monday that you had that conversation. So, let you sent us an email last night. Do you just kind of want to go through it, I guess?
I have the maps here if you guys would like copies. It's really necessary, but there they are for everyone. So when we met, I set the rationale just so you understood why this project was started, and the different options that we came up with over at Jeff's, and then I threw in a couple Arlington locations just because. But this seemed, the $421,000 seems a bit extreme to remodel an existing building across the street. And I realize it's close to the courthouse and it makes it nice for the office location, but it does seem extreme. And I just want guidance because I know it's going to open a can of worms in the community. I already have people calling me, "You're not really going to do that, are you?" And it's like, oh, I got to do something. So I just wanted everyone to be aware of what I'm already hearing. I don't know if you've heard anything or not, but it's right at $200 a square foot. And That's removing the little back area that was back here. I have little pictures if you want to see what was cut. On it. So, I don't know, I guess I'm asking you for guidance, and if you have any questions, we can discuss it. It's kind of hard for me just to go over all this. That's why I wanted you guys to have something to look at last night. I know it was short notice, but to me it just seemed better if we had all the cards were on the table, then we can start from there. I know there was discussion about using capital project dollars, and I would feel bad if this project superseded something maybe more community-based. You know what I mean? If it was, say, new childcare or something, and these dollars went to remodel my bus barn, as opposed, I don't know, I just want to be fair for public perception, and I just really want you guys to decide this one. How's that? The thing has the federal life standards on the building are 40 years, and I've gotten a guesstimate. We have to have somebody else come in and actually go through the building, but it's worth between 50 and 60,000. So that could be nice for the fleet vehicles and the county storage, or maybe the sheriff's department, if they wanted to absorb the existing bus barn that we have. And then we could start fresh on a different site, maybe up by the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds, you guys, the county owns. And Jeff seems to think, I mean, there are some issues, there's so many issues, and septic issues, but he thinks it's workable. But again, I can't make any of these decisions, so it's over my level.
So, just so I guess we get this clear, the reasoning for the expansion of this over here was for the bus to be parked inside, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was what the $82,000 was originally for.
Right. And
we decided, I believe you brought it up, that we could possibly put the office over there because we need office space. Having 3 different programs, 3 different staff with no way to have any confidentiality or privacy and quiet, it's not working. So that's how this project came about.
that's how
This location.
that's how the moving of the office.
Right, the location across the street.
So originally, what we had talked about, and I'm not seeing it here, was we own property in Arlington, where the road department is now at, of building a building there that we could park the bus
Right,
in.
and I didn't want that because of the railroad. I mean, you get stuck there with the garbage train too much. It'd be hard to schedule trips out of there when you're stuck. I got stuck 40 minutes the other day by the train, so it's pretty impossible to.
But that could be the case in any one of the locations in Arlington, wherever, that would end up being.
Not so much, I mean, not to where I couldn't even get out of the location, no.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Could be a possibility if the bus is up here in Condon and has to hauls people and is driving back to Arlington to be parked in the bus barn, it can sit there for whatever period of time the train goes by, right?
I guess so, theoretically it could be, yeah.
So, it was just, when I threw this out, Marva, about the office over there, I just threw that out as an option.
Right.
Wasn't anything that. But now this has gone from really trying to get a facility to be able to park the bus to creating a location for you to have an office and park the bus and all the transport vehicles.
Right. It was originally called the bus expansion.
So we've got the location that we park vehicles over across the street, and then we have a bus barn in Arlington, and we're
Then we have
looking
one
at.
parcel that I leased too.
Okay, so we're working on trying to figure out where we can park the bus.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're gonna just look at the bus. Yes, that's what we.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lone Rock. My apologies. So So if we could just bring the bus out, I mean, Jeff's worried about having enough room to turn around in the front of the area, so we can't really build out on the front of the existing bus barn. You're not supposed to you're supposed to be able to do your right of way without being out in the public streets when you're parking your vehicles. That's how he kind of explained it to me. So, the only plan we had done is for the office accommodation. That's what I felt that I had been directed to do. So, if we have to redesign it just for a bus facility, that's fine. We could do that, that would be much easier. But I'm still going to advocate for an office because it's just, we need an office.
So so Teddy's in there, and tell me the other.
Sabrina and myself.
Okay, but you guys are the same, you said
She's
something about.
seniors.
Okay.
So she's supposed to be able to do her senior projects. Teddy's supposed to be family services, and I'm transportation, and she's part-time transportation as a dispatcher.
So is there another location that Teddy could go in the building?
So within the building, there's the break room here that is not, I mean, well, it used to be an office, it's no longer an office. Upstairs, we have, of course, the water master and the treasurer and assessor and clerk's office, which no changes there. We've got downstairs, of course, the sheriff's office. We have the justice of the peace office that is used one day a week. And then we have their office. We have Terry's office, the road department, of which.
I didn't think about that. How big is that one? Is there anybody else in there with her?
No. So then we have the juvenile director, who is in there by herself. And then there's Leanne and I sharing, and Rachel and Michelle sharing.
With pocket doors that can be absolute, that they can close for privacy as needed.
So proposals that, was to move Teddy up to the break room. That was one option. Initially, the option was to move the justice of the peace to the circuit court judge's office. That didn't work very well with the sheriff, and because he works real closely with the justice of the peace, and there is a doorway that leads between the two offices. So.
But Chris was willing to work with it, and she could, and so was Amy when I spoke to them anyway. If they were willing to work together and share the space, I believe it was an option, but I don't know. That's what they told me. I don't know if they did. Maybe they told me something different than how they really felt.
So how often is Amy is the?
She's here full time.
Juvenile director.
One day a week. She's usually out of the office, like checking on kids. But that's, it does vary. So I don't know exactly what her schedule is.
What's back here? What's back here?
That is the circuit court jury. Well, the jury room is over here, and then there is an office that it's really circuit court uses it on Thursdays. It's used by the veteran services officer.
Which, and I believe this. I can't tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe the reason because the VSO used to come here on Tuesdays, and it was switched to Thursdays, so it. So you can accommodate, if Chris was to go up there, Judge Patton was to go up to there, they wouldn't, they have their own space, and they could have locking files.
Right.
But then that leaves the door open to the sheriff's department, which is, he doesn't want just anybody in there, which I understand that. Because it is adjacent, they have a door that goes in and out. Direct entrance.
Right. Well, that could it be locked?
I have no idea.
I mean.
Every door in the courthouse can be locked.
Yeah.
Right, no, I didn't know,
it's
because
more
that's, am I saying it
I have no
truthfully?
issues with any of it. I mean, the
Oh,
door's
okay,
not an issue for me.
Things were relayed,
Yeah, I mean, I can lock it, I didn't, yeah.
okay. But, I mean, that's the opinion, and all, that's what I had been understanding over all this time.
So what would be your number one suggestion?
Whatever you guys decide is fine.
Your number one suggestion would be to move into the Green Lab in Arlington.
Yes, it would. If I had the
Number
perfect
two
world, that's what I'd do.
number two thing would be to go to the Gronquist building.
It's an option, isn't it? I'm not saying I'm not saying that those are my 1 and 2 favorites, because I have to think about Sabrina as well. And Sabrina doesn't want to drive to Arlington, so I'm fine. I think the fairgrounds is a fair, it's out of the way, it's nice, and you guys own it, so I think that's a nice little place. If I had to pick my favorite one, it would be that one. Cheryl Baker, I don't know how much she wants for her property. It's a nice little one, because it's close to the fuel bay. But then I don't know if that's too far for the office. I'm not sure the logistic area parts of it all.
So I'm sure this says this in here, but I can't remember everything from last night. If you just started over and built a building rather than an addition and built a building, what's the cost comparison between that and the add-on to the existing?
He said it would be closer to $100 or $150 a square foot. But I mean, $100 a square foot, it's harder. It's more difficult to get a contractor in this area, according to Jeff. He said it's just easier. Arlington is easier. There might be a little bit of less money there, but that's what his instructions were, or his input was. I don't know either way.
What happened? So I remember when the county used to have offices down there on the mall. What is all that space now?
It's all clinic now.
It's all clinic?
Yeah, they remodeled all that. Where our office originally was, now that's kind of like their office space. You walk in and the office is over here now, instead of it was on the right when Carmen was there.
What are they doing with the little TV co-op office? Is it just empty?
Yeah, I don't know.
How much did we pay for that, to have that office down there?
Rent, when the county, I think it was one of two numbers, my memory, I think it's either $150 a month or $300 a month. I can't remember which, but it's all copy was on there. Wasn't there?
Yeah. It's a pretty good deal.
It was. I think it was 300 because it was a portion of the electricity and we had internet there.
Eventually we got that.
Yeah, well, when I came on board, there was internet. So it's all in your hands. I'm just.
Yeah. So this grant
Mhm.
needs to be used within,
By June 30th, 2018. I can try to get an amendment or have it extended, but I kind of have to have a solid plan to have it amended. I can't just say, we're still working on it.
That's why it ended up, just every week counts at this point, that's why it ended up on this
Right.
Right.
special session agenda, because she's getting up, she's pushing against the deadline.
yeah.
But, I mean, we've had conversations about it throughout, for quite a while, it's off and on, nothing as drastic as it is, but we are down to we're on a pretty tight timeline. And even Jeff said in a perfect world, it's like a year to get one of these built, to have a building done. Like to get that one done, he goes, you're looking at least a year out.
Well, it's a year if it's an office. If we're just talking about a facility to park the bus in, then it's tremendously short.
Yeah, and I've already we've already paid almost $7,200 in consulting
Professional
fees.
services.
Yeah.
What now?
$7,200 that went to Pillar Consultants for his
Yeah.
plan and his, for his time so far just on this project. It's not from across the street.
So the future, what do you see in the future? You're gonna need another bay? How soon you're gonna need to add on?
I don't think we're gonna have to start looking at probably bigger vehicles, getting away from the single, having the 5 or 6 littler cars, because if we go to paid driver, we're not gonna have 5 or 6 paid drivers. We'll be having, people will have to consolidate their trips as our route schedules work I mean, it'll be a completely different system for the future. And we're meeting with McKed to talk about the, I believe it was at the transportation meeting that you were like a week and a half ago in Rufus. Anyway, they were talking about expanding and where we could all maybe be on the same communication system, where our people could go to the Dalles, and if they need to go to Hood River, they could catch a link transit there. I mean, that's the future, that's what it's going to look like. Granted, there's going to be special circumstances, but in reality, that's what we're going to be looking at.
And how far out would you project, how many years out is that before we'd be looking at another major change?
Oh, I don't think, as far as any more space.
10 years, 5 years?
10, 15, yeah. Because I think that, I mean, we're starting to develop that now with the new vehicles. We're changing, we're getting a little bit different, longer lasting, bigger vehicles, more comfortable so people will use the service. And I mean, the 5-year plan is, I probably won't have that many volunteer drivers because I think they're going to age out, and unfortunately, that's going to really cut our system.
And they need bigger vehicles then too then.
We're going to have
fewer drivers.
Fewer drivers, paid drivers, bigger cars.
Yeah.
Or big buses, I'm sorry, not cars.
So if I just want to make sure I understand, if another location, if somehow the office space situation could be remedied
That's all I need
to everybody's satisfaction, is it possible, I mean, how much would it cost just to build a bus barn? Is this the $240,000?
That would be, which page on, second page?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a guesstimate. If we had a 40 by 60 basic electric, probably that 200, which I think it would probably be, we might be able to get it cheaper than that, but that's high. Because Jeff's going to go high on everything, that's with contingency. So overall, hopefully the cost would be less. And again, like I said, it kind of is based on where it's at. It might be a few dollars cheaper a foot. If it was closer to that 84, that's just an assumption at this point.
So would you prefer having office space with the bus barn, or you just want more room? And some, do you care whether or not the bus barn is separate from where you work?
I don't care. I mean, it's nice, it would be nice, but I'm pretty flexible at this point. That's why I gave you 6 different options.
Well, frankly, I never had a chance to really look at this whole deal. I mean, due to the time factor, and I'm just kind of struggling here a little to put my thoughts together on this, but it looks like looking at the future that maybe adding on to this enough to taking care of our bus at this time.
Okay.
Is, and then in the future, looking at a whole new building, and,
I don't know if we'll ever need a whole new building, but maybe. Maybe. But that's a few years down the road. If I can just get that bus under cover, it would be nice.
Yeah.
Like today, I was out there, I cleaned it out for Mary so she could go take the red hatters. And there's this much snow on it, and there's things like that. It was just, she can't do it. I'm not going to have a volunteer driver out there in the snow.
I did meet her.
Did you?
Yes.
Was she driving fast?
Fast as I was.
Okay.
So how often does that bus go?
It's usually, I'm going to say weekly. I mean, that would be a safe, without exaggeration, I would say at least weekly. Sometimes more, but. And I've got the graphics ordered, the guy's finishing the designs right now on that. And I'd like to have it under cover before we have the drafts on it.
Okay, so what I'm kind of hearing right now is the option of building on with the office and the building across the road, the cost of it is too high.
That's,
Well,
just from that's my opinion. I mean, I'm looking at what people have already told me, and people have stopped me and talked to me about it. It's pretty hard to defend. I'm sorry, it is. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Now, you know, again, that was, I think some of the biggest costs that we had with that was, you know, water, sewer, all had to be hooked up to it.
Absolutely.
A bathroom, all of, you know, office space, all of that in there. We don't have any idea what the cost of it would be just to put in the additional space for the bus to be parked, right?
No, we could go,
We do.
we could pretty much go through this and eliminate a few things.
So then the other, you know, was maybe another location that we built a barn that we just parked the bus in, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then, you know, the third would be a new transportation facility,
By the
bus
fairgrounds.
parking and, yeah,
And I think the
parking, the
basic-
bus, office, everything.
Yeah, I think the land use and plans review, just for the basic building, I'm thinking it's right about 280,000, just to renovate. And I think that's, yeah, there's a few connection fees, so it will be less than that.
I would guess in this city, there's office space available to rent if we're crowded here at the county court building. If we might consider that option.
I'm game.
You know, so I mean, that would be
Yeah,
one reason to not look at this office expansion into this
Sure, you
building
know,
too.
again, it was just one of those things
Oh,
that
yeah.
was thrown out there. There wasn't anything etched in stone. It was just an idea of trying to cover what she was hoping to have done.
And there's always
So,
Arlington.
Yeah, and there's Arlington too.
There's always Arlington, that is true.
Yeah.
Commissioner Weatherall, thank you for that.
No, and
That really-
seriously, that is true.
Yeah.
It is.
That's absolutely
We have
true. It's,
a lot of transportation going out down there.
We're running about 50-50 anymore. It used to be Arlington was not used that much, but it's pretty much a split. We're just as busy on either end.
Yeah.
and, you know, with today's ability to communicate and do the things that we do, it's, you know, technology can make it happen fairly easily.
So
Okay.
are we thinking that, can we put this on next meeting's agenda and maybe have,
Yeah.
maybe have Jeff here
Sure.
too and
Well,
give us a chance to think about some of this?
Again, you know, I think we really need to kind of take a look at three different things. Just the addition for parking the bus over here, the possibility of building a building that, whether it's just the bus or it, you know, holds additional vehicles. But I can say this building over here right now, in the vehicles that Marla's talking about increasing sizes for, it would hold them, it wouldn't be a problem at all.
I would be interested to see how much it would cost just to take out the office space in this building and just have this addition be just,
Yeah.
That would
For
be easy.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Depends on his end to do it and
Right.
provide you guys a cost opinion.
So just, you know, then there would be the option of just the building for the bus. And then the third thing would be, what was the third thing? With the whole, all office,
Transportation.
transportation building. So, okay, we'll go to work on getting that information to you. We got to move quickly here. Leslie's got someplace she has to go.
Okay.
Thank you too,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. So, job descriptions, there was an email sent to us this morning. I think Leanne put it, or well, actually it was sent Friday. I'm not sure what it was, but I think I saw it this morning. Commissioner Weimer, you had a question about coordinator as opposed to, you know, some of these. She sent along sample job title definitions here.
Okay.
And what, I think you were looking at director, and coordinator was what was put in there. This was based on, again, human resources, and based on what the employees put into their position analysis questionnaire, and determining, you know, where that position fit within that level on the job title definitions. So, you know, Whether that answers any of your questions or not, I just know that right now we're having a difficult time. We can't get the salary comparison finalized until we really get the job descriptions completely finalized. We need to get that salary comparison thing done as soon as we can. Table it again until Wednesday?
So.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you know, all of this was wrapped around the wording of the contract. It's been a rushed thing. So really, you know, what we're going to be looking at is all four of these particular items again, probably a fifth one that I had on there that we struck, that being the request for dispersal of funds. Hopefully have a contract for the lease agreement. I just checked a minute ago and it's still not here, so. It's been difficult in that office. I stopped in there yesterday and.
In what office?
Will Carey's office.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we signing this? Is this?
You approved it at the last board meeting.
Yeah.
I just didn't have your signature.
Thank you.
So, anything else? Okay, good. Then we shall adjourn until next Wednesday.